So Dr. West, the mayor really set it up for you. I don't know if he know that because he talked about the love community.
Mama, he got it.
He set it up for you.
Lord, so I'm on the caboose, but I'm on the train.
You're on the train. So, Dr. West, if I might, because the mayor, he really set this up. I don't know if he knew, but he put that layup. He put it up there.
He got us on the love
He got it up there
for
you to go on and do that thing. Right. So I'm going to quote Jesus, if I might.
Oh, Lord.
Come on now.
If I just may. Because I'm coming down your street.
Lord have
around
mercy.
the corner to your house on this
Come on.
So I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was homeless and you gave me a room. I was shivering and you gave me clothes. I was sick and you stopped by to visit me. I was in prison and you came to see about me. Dr. West, the moral and spiritual imperative, whether it's from the Christian tradition or other spiritual traditions and religious traditions, Dr. West, give us a word.
Well, to begin with Jesus and connect it to him being incarcerated on the way to the cross. You've got a Jewish brother, comes out of prophetic Judaism. Judaism was a moral religion in the history of the species because it said to be human is to spread hesed, steadfast love, a loving kindness to the fatherless, the motherless, the stranger, the weak, the vulnerable, anybody who's oppressed. No matter what color, gender, national identity, he was already an internationalist because he was coming out of the Hebrew prophets when Amos said, I'm concerned with justice for everybody. I'm beginning with the particularity of Jews, but it's for everybody. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means, of course, even if you're agnostic, if you're secular, if you're atheistic, if you're Christian, if you're Islamic, if you're Buddhist or you're Hindu, at that deep human level, are you really willing to courageously engage in a quest for truth? And the condition of truth is always to allow suffering to speak, no matter where it is, no matter what part of town it is. Chocolate sides, vanilla sides, yellow sides, red sides, brown sides, but it's also talked about love.
Yes.
And see, in America, it's almost impossible to talk about love because it's been commodified, commercialized, marketized. It's all sentimentalized. No, love is the most difficult thing, and yet at the same time, the most precious and the most powerful. Why is that? Because you have to have a courage to examine yourself to learn how to die in order to become a new person in love. You need to be able to kill. Now, what we have in America is we have an imperial meltdown. We're living in an American empire. We've got 4,855 military units, 857 around the world, 128 countries, special operations. Pentagon gets 47 cents for every dollar. We got an empire. We got precious democratic practices in the middle of it. That's why when we founded this nation, it was an imperial democracy. Just ask our precious indigenous brothers and sisters. It was a patriarchal democracy. Ask our sisters, who are not a minority, but the majority of humanity. You see? And it was a white supremacist, slavocratic democracy. That's it. That sounds paradoxical. No, it's just contradictory. And all of us shot through with contradictions. That's what it is to be human. So we have to tell the truth. So all Jesus is saying is, right, that to be human at the highest level is to engage in a quest for our truth and unconditional love. The love includes everybody. The truth is going to begin with yourself and your society, your community, and the world. And to spread as much love as you can. And justice being what love looks like in public, just like tenderness being what love feels like in private. And that's very important to keep in mind. Because in our imperial meltdown, we're getting spiritual whiteout or blackout, whatever term you want to choose, which is the eclipse of integrity, honesty, decency, massive corruption, I don't care what color. So when I think of criminality as a Christian, as a revolutionary Christian, the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer,
yes, sir,
I begin at the top. Why are the criminals at the top hardly talked about? All that market manipulation, insider trading, predatory lending, fraudulent activities on Wall Street, how many of them went to jail? Not at all. Not at all. Massive corruption in government. Republicans and Democrats. Republicans are not the only gangsters.
Speak on it.
We got some gangsters in the Democratic Party. I got Marxist gangsters in Brazil. They were corrupt. They were my comrades. I still love them. I'm a Christian. I love everybody. But they're wrong as they could be. Because greed is a difficult thing not to be seduced by when you're not accountable. You see, that's true for anybody in any high place. And one of the wonderful things about the politician, what we love about Brother Bernie. Right?
Yes, sir.
And we talked about that last night. Bernie's not perfect, but that brother, he has a quest for integrity such that he's less subject to wholesale corruption.
All right.
Sister Jane can testify to that in ways we don't even need to go into right now. That's very important. That's very important. We thank Brother David for this kind of leadership, bringing us together like this. Right. But when we talk about criminality, then we have to put it in the right context. If we had all the prison reform in the world and still had high levels of poverty, still had decrepit school systems, still had inadequate housing, still had dominant images of a corporate media in which you deal with conflict by killing other people, we still have a problem. My beloved is from Canada. Canada has roughly the same population as California. More Californians kill each other with knives than Canadians kill each other with anything. That's a cultural, spiritual issue. The dominant myth of America is the frontier. What was the frontier? Barbarians, civilized, moral regeneration through violence. We kill them, we kill them, we kill them, we kill them. So we have a deeply violent element. And to be black or red or brown in America is to be subject to the raw violence. I can't even talk about it many times. I had to deal with the police, dragged off to jail and so forth. I was the biggest cocaine driver. I'm trying to be a professor at Yale. They dragging me to jail for cocaine. I said, I wish I was that entrepreneurial, so sophisticated and entrepreneurial since I need some money. But I mean, it's just being black in America.
Come on.
The question is not what's coming at you. The question is what you're going to do with it.
There it is.
You see, that's where, when you talk about the prophetic fight back, that's what Sanders Institute is about. But it's got to be solidaristic. You see, right now, we all in our little silos. Black folk in one corner, brown folk want to be in another corner, women in another corner. We got to deal with patriarchy, white supremacy, homophobia, transphobia, trans just as precious as anybody else. But how do we come together in a solidaristic way with strong moral and spiritual foundation?
Amen.
And we're not talking about perfection. All we're saying is, and this is all the black folk has ever asked for America. We want to be respected, we want to be treated fairly, and we want accountability of anybody who got power over us. That's what it means to be a Democrat, small d. You see it in Whitman, you see it in Emerson, you see it in Louis Armstrong, you see it in Curtis Mayfield, you see it in Bruce Springsteen. They're Democrats on the ground. They want respect, they want fairness, and they want accountability of anybody above them, you see. And that's what it is with the police department. If the police are killing our young brothers and sisters, are killing you and I. They didn't kill you too, but you'd be a little further behind in the line. We want a fair trial and send them to jail, just like anybody else. How many of these policemen go to jail? Very, very few. Give them a fair trial, send them to jail like anybody else. That's just what it means to call for fairness, respect, and accountability at its deepest level. But when you got 1% of the population, you got 41% of the wealth, and the folk don't have hardly but crumbs to deal with. They're bombarded with violent images, the toxic masculinity that reinforces the male insecurity. And the women trying to deal with all of that viciousness coming at them. Thank God for the Me Too movement. We want accountability for the men who have patriarchal control over us in the workplace and other places, you see. So that legacy that you talk about is that Jesus, and of course Jesus has been appropriated immediately by the Roman Empire, and he's definitely been appropriated by the American Empire. So we won't talk about how vicious the institutional Christianity has been. But there's been some prophetic Christians, just like prophetic Jews, prophetic Buddhists like bell hooks, prophetic Hindus. Hindu got a problem with caste. Thank God for Ambedkar. Yeah. But Gandhi was doing his best. Yes. But what enough? And when it comes to our secular brothers and sisters, let me tell y'all something right now. That if, in fact, in this moment in which neoliberal establishments are collapsing, not just here, but around the world, and the only thing presented that has some credibility is a vicious, xenophobic, authoritarian populism on the way to neo-fascism, and if we can't generate a left populism that is credible, that speaks to them as human beings, and if we're no longer able to even sustain the best of the neoliberal had something positive about it, at least it talked about some sense of liberty, but it got so marketized, privatized, financialized, and then militarized. If we don't have a left populist option that's credible, we headed down a neo-fascist road, I'm telling you. And a lot of it has to do with the running out of spiritual gas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. People say, oh, if this is the way the world is, then it's just a survival of the slickest. Let me get in on the game and try to get over by any means. That's a level of spiritual emptiness that make Martin Luther King Jr. cry from the grave. And we refuse to see that go without us fighting. There's no guarantee that we're going to win. So what?
Let's do it, though.
So what? We're going to fight anyway.
Let's do it. All right.
Absolutely.
Wow. Hello. Man, we going to do this. Woo, look at the sand. Dr. J, look at your fellows go. Bringing the thunder, the lightning, and the rain, baby. We doing it all right now. So speaking of that, oh my God, this is a blessing. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling all kinds of ways right now. I'm ready.